Hey everyone, this is Dean with DCA Crypto. Have a Bitcoin update for you guys. Will Bitcoin reach its all-time high or surpass it by the halving? I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and let's jump into it. Alright, so today's video I'm going to kind of go through some different things here with Bitcoin and some articles that are going to discuss whether or not Bitcoin could surpass its all-time high or reach its all-time high by the halving coming up here in, about 2 months from now. So I'm going to jump into a couple articles here with you guys, and just first of all I'm going to take a look at the market, and then we'll go into those articles and do a kind of a deeper dive into what's going on with Bitcoin and the halving, and can it surpass its all-time high or reach it by the halving. So let's jump into it here. So current market cap is over 2 trillion. Bitcoin again above 52,000 and Ethereum above 2,800. Market's looking really strong this week. I had a lot of green on my charts this week, so very, very awesome so far for this year. So had a really good start to the year, and I was kind of surprised that we haven't gotten that big correction yet, but we'll have to see if we get anything or not. With these Bitcoin ETFs approved, it's kind of like really keeping the market bullish. So I'm really excited to see here what happens with the halving, whether we reach the all-time high by the halving or not. Bitcoin's price in March could give us an indicator of what could be happening with the price in April, because there's some indicators in the previous charts around the halving that indicated that the price in the month before the halving typically was lower than the price of them at the halving. So we'll have to see what happens in March and if that's a good indicator or not, whether we reach the all-time high or surpass it in April when the halving occurs. So I want to jump into this article here from Coindesk.com. This talks about the Bitcoin price prediction after the halving in 2024 and what to expect. This goes into a lot of detail here. I'm not going to read all of it, but I do want to read some key points of this article because I think it's important and relevant to today's video. So the key takeaways here is the blockchain protocol events like the halving changed the supply and dynamics significantly, influencing cryptocurrencies prices. Based on historical data, which I always try to use on my channel, Bitcoin's price tends to show a slight increase in the month leading up to a halving event, and then a considerable increase in the months after. There's no clear trend for Bitcoin's price immediately after each halving, making short-term predictions challenging, but typically long-term, the price action is bullish for Bitcoin after the halving. Despite short-term uncertainties, Bitcoin has recorded a new all-time high price in each 4-year period between halvings, indicating a positive long-term performance. The next Bitcoin halving is in mid-April, and the current prediction of Bitcoin trading at 62,000 is the current prediction for Bitcoin for April 12th of 2024. So that's what they're predicting it to be right now. The algorithm suggests a minor retracement a month after the halving, followed by a 14-month long rally to a new all-time high of approximately 179,000 in August of 2025. So they're predicting here $179,000 Bitcoin next year in August to be the peak of the bull run. So that'll be interesting, but that kind of makes sense because it typically has been a little bit earlier each time. So the Bitcoin price halving history here in 2012, the price a month before the halving was $10. At the halving is $12, and then a month after the halving was $13, so a slight increase. And then 3 months after, it tripled in price up to $30. So, 153% increase, but that's very bullish here. But from a month before to 3 months after, that's a 4 months, it tripled in price from $10 to $30. In 2016, it was $577 the month before the halving, and then at the halving, it was $633, and then it dipped after the halving, before it took off into a new all-time high during, that bull run. The third halving here in 2020, the price was $7,000 in the month before the halving, and then it reached $8,730 at the halving. And then the month after it was at almost $10,000, and then 3 months after it was at $12,000. So it'll be really interesting, like I said, to see what Bitcoin is at in March. That'll give us a good indicator of what it could be at in April when the actual halving happens. But the average here, it looks to be around almost a 20% increase in price between the month before and the halving. So we'll have to see where that puts us in April. This here shows a Bitcoin price halving prediction for 2024 and 2025. It says, notably, the algorithm is currently forecasting BTC will display a huge price rally between now and 2025, which could reach a peak above $178,000 in August 2025. After the explosive rally, the price is predicted to stabilize in the $160,000 to $170,000 range. That would be absolutely amazing if that happens. I mean, you think our bags are like flying right now? If this happens, you're gonna see your bags do insane numbers. So hopefully this happens. That's a 250% increase change between the $50,000 price and the $175,000 price. So I'm really excited to see how this indicates here. But you kind of look here, they're kind of predicting Bitcoin. This is around April to be at 62,000 and then dip down to like 53,000 and then drop all the way to 36,000 before we take off into this halving or into this bull market here and reach $178,000. So they're still showing that we could hit a dip even down to 31,000 here in March. So we'll have to see. They're showing a $31,000 dip in March and then for it to jump up to 62,000. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. That'd be like a 2x in price if it dipped down that low, then jumped up to 60,000, and then came back down to like 35,000. We'll have to see what happens here, but that's kind of what they're predicting could happen here. So we'll have to see if we get that dip or not with these algorithms kind of predicting what could happen here. This article here talks about the Bitcoin price unlikely to hit all-time high before the halving, and here's why. It says, for investors, turning bullish on Bitcoin is tempting, especially after a 91% rally to 52,000 in just 4 months. And its current $1 trillion valuation places it among the world's top 10 tradable assets. If it were to reach all-time high like $70,000, it would represent a $350 billion increase in Bitcoin's market cap. And this would put it ahead of silver and the United Kingdom's pound, including bank deposits and currency bills. The key question is whether conditions support Bitcoin's 1.35 trillion evaluation. And they talk about different reasons here and why it could do that. They talk about the CPI index and inflation and how that affects the price typically. But they're saying the spot ETFs will transform Bitcoin into a mature asset class. A significant selling point for Bitcoin is its institutional inflow that occurred, yet its price remains 25% below the $69,000 all-time high, or even lower when adjusted for inflation. Bitcoin's adoption has increased, but the bullish estimates of $100,000 or higher price haven't materialized. On the bright side, a $3 trillion market cap company was a distant dream in November of 2021, but it became a reality for Microsoft and Apple. So as long as the dollar continues to deteriorate, there's hope for Bitcoin to surge above 70,000, but it's unlikely to happen ahead of the halving in April. So this Cointelegraph article doesn't think it's likely to happen by the halving. This article here is a Medium article. I guess Lucas Otomuro was the author of this, published into the block. And they talk about on-chain insights and whether Bitcoin will reach a new all-time high or not. Bitcoin's fees dropped by 35% despite its price reaching its highest in nearly 2 years. Now they're talking about analyzing Bitcoin's odds of hitting all-time highs. And here they say its all-time high in 2021 is now just 32% away from its current price. Let's take a look at this one to understand the implications. The halving effects on the network security. Bitcoin's halving is set to happen in mid-April. The rewards issued to miners per block will be reduced from 6.25 BTC to 3.125 BTC. Since miner revenues decreased by 50%, it's likely that Bitcoin's hash rate drops shortly after the halving. In 2020, the Bitcoin's hash rate dropped by 30% within weeks. However, Bitcoin's miner difficulty was automatically reduced shortly thereafter, leading to new all-time highs in the hash rate just 7 weeks after the halving, even when Bitcoin's price had remained nearly unchanged. With Bitcoin set to undergo its fourth halving, it's likely that miners are more prepared than ever for the reduction in issuances. For this reason, as well as continued specialization in miner equipment, We predict Bitcoin's all-time high to reach another all-time high just a month after the halving. So they're predicting a new all-time high in May, it's saying here. With regards to Bitcoin's price, a quick rebound in the hash rate would help assure the security of the Bitcoin blockchain. Moreover, the reduction in issuances also translate to potentially less Bitcoin being sold by miners. So there's going to be reduced selling pressure, and the inflation rate will be decreasing from 1.7% to just 0.8% per year after the halving. And approximately 900 BTC are currently issued per day, representing just 0.1% of Bitcoin's on-chain volume. While there will be marginally lower selling pressure as these newly minted flows decrease, a larger impact may come from the miners' holdings. Miners are attributed to 15% of Bitcoin's on-chain volume. Historically, volume trends higher after the halving, while miner rewards decrease. This results in less market impact. Their Federal Reserve's restrictive stance on interest rates in 2022 set the grounds for a bear market, not only in crypto but all risk assets. Inflation has come down to 3%, from nearly 10%. Market participants are now anticipating the Fed to facilitate financial conditions, lowering interest rates, and potentially reactivating quantitative easing. This anticipation is likely a main driver behind the recent rally in both Bitcoin and stocks. Previous bear markets and equities used the bottom shortly the Fed began to cut rates, and this play has become obvious. Market participants continue to buy in anticipation of eventual rate cuts. So they're saying that, they think the rate cuts are coming, so that they're thinking that that's what's caused the rally in the prices recently as part of the reason. And the elections is another factor. I've talked about this in my channel before. Though the Fed is supposed to be an independent, apolitical institution, the political donations from its employees have consistently favored the Democratic Party over the last few years. With the presidential elections coming this year, there's an implicit incentive for the Fed to prop up the economy to increase Biden's odds of re-election. While Biden's cabinet has been relatively anti-crypto, the months leading up to the election will likely be favorable to crypto as stronger economic conditions facilitate an environment for markets to rise. They talk about how the elections typically have a positive impact on the markets. And then they talk here about treasuries and how that could impact the price as well. So there's a lot in here, a lot of information in this article. I'll leave the links to these in the description below for you guys. But there's a lot of reasons why they think Bitcoin could reach a new all-time high by the halving or shortly after the halving. Whether that'll happen or not is yet to be seen. In the past, we've seen 2/3 of the time, 2 out of 3 times, Bitcoin's price has been higher after the halving, and 1 time out of the 3, the price was lower. So we'll have to see if we balance this out with 50-50, or if we go 3 for 4 out of this round with Bitcoin. And the market's been pretty bullish, so maybe we go 3 for 4. Maybe we'll reach a new all-time high shortly after the halving. And that's pretty much what I got for this video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. We'll see you on the next video.
Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me.